Hi, welcome to a new week of Climbing Daily. We're starting off by talking about someone who may not be that well known to younger climbers, but really should be. Jeff Lowe has probably done more to shape our sport than anyone else alive, but his greatest achievement is how he's coped with adversity over the past 15 years. A film about his life called Jeff Lowe's Metanoia is currently touring the world, and we thought we'd speak to Jeff's partner and the producer of the film, Connie Self, to find out more about the movie and the man. So, Connie, welcome to Chamonix.
Thank you very much.
We have the premiere of Metanoia tonight in town.
Yes.
What is the film about?
Well, the film is about a legendary climber who is doing extraordinary in his career, has a fall from grace, and then comes back from that, and then goes on to a debilitating disease and deals with that in an extraordinary way. And that's really what we want to share with people.
And it all revolves around this route on the Eiger, Metanoia.
Correct.
Tell us about the route.
Well, the route on Metanoia goes straight up the center of the Eiger, essentially avoiding all other routes, which is difficult. There's many routes on the Eiger at the time that Jeff did that in 1991. But it's never been repeated, and it's considered the most formidable route on the Eiger.
When you are a climber, it's very important to be creative.
He's the guy that really introduced modern mixed climbing to the entire planet.
The most talented technical climber of his generation.
He had this vision for the future.
To me, it was always a privilege to climb with Jeff.
If you really want it, you can go ahead and get it.
He has been one of the iconic figures in American climbing. And he gets this very debilitating illness, which robs him of that part of his life.
So Jeff did Metanoia in 1991. It's still never been repeated.
Correct.
There's been some strong climbers have a go at it. Why has it never been repeated?
The quick answer is one that Jeff gave at the UK premiere at Kendal Mountain Festival. They asked him, why that very question. And I was giving an answer to something else, and this is so classic Jeff. Jeff was typing on his iPad. He doesn't speak very well anymore, so he uses an iPad. And the audience suddenly started laughing, and I knew I didn't say anything funny. So I looked behind me, and I could see they had put the iPad up on the screen, and Jeff had typed, "Maybe it's not a very good route." But I think the real answer is the conditions have changed a lot, and or they change a lot from year to year. So when someone has an opportunity to go, depending on what the conditions are like, that can make it more difficult. And that can mean more ice or less ice can make it more difficult. It's also, a lot of people don't know exactly where the route goes. It's been a little bit mysterious. And now that the film is out, I've been collecting the beta that Jeff has written over the years, and we'll make that more available. We would love to see a second ascent. That would be very exciting. But I also think that Jeff was climbing at a level that at that time, no one else was climbing at that level. And so I think it's much harder than people expect it to be.
If we miss it, we may say, "Josh, you mind doing that one more time?"
Sure. And it'll be dictated by the nature of the terrain.
Yeah,
if it's easy, I'll be quick. If it's not so easy, I'll be slow.
Now, it's been well documented recently that Jeff has not been well.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean, has his illness been diagnosed? Could you give us a description of when it started and where it's at now?
In 1999, Jeff was ice skating with his daughter, and his feet just went out from under him and he fell. And, you know, cracked his head right on the ice. Didn't literally crack his ice, I should say. He cracked the ice, not his head. And that was probably the first symptom in retrospect. At the time, no one thought of it to mean anything except it was extremely unusual for Jeff Lowe to lose his balance for no reason.
I just call it the incredible shrinking brain syndrome. And it gives me a ready excuse for any time I screw up in any way from here on out.
They diagnosed him then in 2009 with an unknown neurodegenerative process. Over the next year or two, I think it was in probably 2012, they said that it was the most similar to ALS. In the United States, people with ALS die usually within 5 years. So this would mean that Jeff has had this since 2000, well, since, let's call it 2000. But he's 15 years out now. Now, one of the most famous people in the world has Lou Gehrig's disease and has had it for over 40 years, and that's Stephen Hawking. So Jeff likes to consider himself in good company with Stephen Hawking.
Have fun, work hard, and get smart in that order. And that's what I'm still doing.
Thanks, Connie. I went to the Chamonix premiere of the film and it is funny, interesting and pretty moving too. I suggest you check it out. You can find out more about it by going to jefflowclimber.com. We'll see you tomorrow.